Hi, everyone, this is the Encyclopedia channel. The book interpreted by this program is called Time Power, a proven system for getting more done in less time than you ever thought possible. Brian Tracy is the author of this book and is the leading personal growth field in the United States. He has written a lot of books, mainly on growth inspiration, potential development, sales strategies, etc., and he gives speeches all over the world every year, and his audience may reach as many as 400,000 to 500,000 people a year. At the same time, he also provides consulting services to Fortune 500 companies such as IBM, McDonnell Douglas, and Anderson. Do you know anyone who recommended him? Bill Gates said, "Brian Tracy not only taught us sales, but also taught us how to think." Jack Welch, the former CEO of General Electric, said, "In the field of sales, I have never seen such a rich mind as Brian Tracy." The CEO of Dell, Michael Dell, said, "Brian Tracy taught me what it means to pursue excellence, and he told me how to be a leader with wisdom, soul, and methods." You see, there are many world-class business leaders have all received his management thinking training, which shows that he has great influence both in the field of inspiration and personal growth. So, what time management skills are discussed in Brian Tracy's time management class? How is it different from other time management methods? How can we establish a more scientific view of time? After listening to this episode, you will understand. The book we are going to explain in this issue is a summary of his experience in providing management and consulting for more than 500 companies in the past 25 years. It can be said that he has 20 years of research and teaching results in the field of personal efficiency. The content of the discussion can be roughly divided into three aspects. First, what is the difference between Brian Tracy's time management class and other time management methods? Second, what is the most important issue of time management in this book? Third, how can a more scientific view of time be established? Let us address these three questions one by one. First part. Let me talk about the difference with other time management methods first. Regarding time management, for example, The Art of Getting Stress-Free Work talks about using GTD's time management method so that we have a unified standard processing process to deal with any problems we encounter, thereby improving the efficiency of problem solving. The problem mentioned in the Pomodoro technique is, we are often interrupted or unable to concentrate at work. Then, the Pomodoro technique teaches you how to focus on efficient work for a period of time. So what's different about Brian Tracy's time management class? First of all, he believes that time management is not just a method, but the result of a series of gradual development of abilities. He believes that time management must first solve psychological problems, not technical problems. You have to believe that you should and can be more time efficient. For example, some people think that doing things with time management will make things too organized and rigid, and if everything goes according to plan, they will lose themselves. If you don't break through similar psychological misunderstandings, you won't be able to learn time management. On the basis of the correct psychological cognitive ability, the author believes that controlling time also requires the development of a series of abilities, such as the ability to set goals, the ability to make plans, the ability to develop good work habits, and the ability to handle multitasking. Only after gradually cultivating and mastering these abilities can we truly have the ability of effective time management. Therefore, in Brian Tracy's view, time management is not just a method, but a combination of a series of abilities. Secondly, he does not discuss time management as an indivisible whole, but discusses it according to the problem scenario of inefficient time management encountered in life. For example, what to do if the meeting is inefficient and delays time, what to do if someone interrupts your work thinking and wastes time, what to do if there is an emergency, and what to do if you cannot complete the task as planned, etc. The author offers suggested solutions to similar common time management problems. However, we feel that the greatest value of this book is not only the viewpoints and seen methods of the above-mentioned ability training, but more importantly, he puts forward a philosophical thinking on time management. What is wrong? That's what we're going to discuss next. The second part. As we said earlier, time management is all about how to improve efficiency, how to better organize meetings, and how to better arrange work. But Brian Tracy said that our biggest problem in time management is not that we can't these time management methods, but choose the wrong direction in life, go further and further on the wrong path. This is the biggest problem in time management. For example, you might choose the wrong job or start the wrong relationship, and you will lose more time on this than if you don't know time management skills. On the one hand, many people are engaged in a career they don't like. On the other hand, they find that their work has not brought them growth, but they don't have the courage to leave. Being dissatisfied with the status quo and constantly indulging in the status quo is actually wasting the most precious time and years in our lives. So, your first responsibility to your own time management is to choose a job that you love and that suits you. So how do you find out if you love and like this job? You make a hypothetical scenario, assuming that you are already rich and your money is completely free, and you don't need to work to make money. So is there anything you want to change about your work or career now? If you don't want to do this job once you have money and want to change to another job, it means that you may be doing a wrong job now. You may only engage in your current job because you need to support yourself and make money every month. This state is actually a waste of time. If you find a job that you love and is suitable for, then your feelings at this time should not only mean I want to do this job well, and I am very envious of top talents who have done well in this field, and I am willing to think of various ways to study and learn from them to grow. If you find that you don't even have the idea of being better than others, it's not a good job for you. And if you think your work is very creative and challenging, and you wish you could devote yourself to work early every day, and feel reluctant to leave work when you get off work, then the author said that truly successful people are in this state at work. The same principle is the same in relationships. The most time-wasting thing in a person's life is to invest in a wrong relationship. You will see people all around you who marry too young but live with an unhappy marriage for years and years, and they never stop to think, and the years are gone forever, which is the greatest waste of time. And what is emotion? A lot of people don't really think about it, but the easiest answer is to say that being in a relationship makes you happier than you are now, and if you're in a relationship and it doesn't make you happier than you were in the past, it's probably a failure of. Everyone's behavior is to improve their life and happiness in some way, so the choice of a relationship should be the most important decision in life, and making a correct decision in love will be more important than making a decision in all other. The decisions you make about things have a big impact on your happiness. Conversely, one bad decision about a relationship affects us more than any other decision. Therefore, whether it is work or relationship, you have to think about a problem. That is, if you start from scratch and everything returns to zero, if you have not invested in this relationship, if you have not found this job, if you have not married this, will I make the same decision again? Asking this question, and answering it, may be the most difficult but also the most important question we face in our lives. This is a very important suggestion given by the author, but he also admits that even if many people discover and realize this problem, it is sometimes difficult to face it. Why? There are two reasons. The first reason may be because of sunk costs. The so-called sunk costs are costs that have already been paid and cannot be valuable anymore. For example, a machine has been broken and there is no way to repair it, or the movie we watched, although it was not good, but the ticket has already been spent and there is no way to get it back. There are also sunk costs in career or marriage. After spending years or months in a job or a relationship, we feel that it would be a waste to give up the job in this relationship, and the future is uncertain, so there has been no change for a long time. This is why we may face unsatisfactory status quo and things that are wasting our lives, but we have no way to make courageous decisions. But the author said that there is another very important reason why we do not have the courage to change, that is, we may not have established a correct concept of time, which prevents us from making correct decisions. The third part. What is the concept of time? The concept of time concept comes from Edward Banfield, a sociologist at Harvard University in the United States. He once wrote a book called The Unheavenly City. This book mainly talks about those very wealthy people in the United States. What are the reasons for their success? And which of these actions would make this generation richer than the previous generation? To put it bluntly, it is how the son is richer than the father. Banfield studied a large number of factors, such as differences in education, differences in IQ, and differences in race, personal characteristics, etc. After analyzing these factors, he found that none of them could accurately predict whether there will be a big difference. The fact that many people have an advantage in one or more of the above factors, but they earn less than their parents at the same age, is a strange thing. Banfield continued to study and came to a final conclusion, that is, there is only one factor that can accurately predict whether offspring or a person can go to the upper class of society and the wealthier level of the economy. This factor, the author calls the concept of time. The so-called time concept refers to how long we will consider when we usually make decisions or plan for our lives. If you think about a lot of things just to deal with immediate problems, then your time view may be relatively short. If you think about problems and make decisions in the long run, maybe 5 years, 10 years, or even 20 years later, then your view of time may be relatively short. The time perspective is relatively long. People with a relatively short view of time cannot think about long-term things, while people with a long view of time have more confidence in the future. Therefore, Banfield said that successful people generally have a longer-term view of time, and they usually plan their lives in a span of 5, 10, or even 20 years. For example, the author Brian Tracy, he worked for a rich man many years ago. This rich boss actually started from scratch, and then made more than $500 million in assets in the real estate field. At that time, the boss told Brian Tracy that when you want to buy something, you have to imagine that you will own it for 20 years, then if you think of it as a 20-year thing, you will be right. The pros and cons of your current investment are more prudent. This advice made the author realize that taking a long-term view of the problem can make immediate decisions clearer, which is one of the most valuable advice the author believes he has received. The longer the vision, the more able to make temporary sacrifices for future achievements, which is called delayed gratification in psychology. For example, there is such a tradition in the British upper class that once their children are born, they will enroll their children in Oxford and Cambridge University. Even if these children do not enter these universities after 18 or 20 years, they will also give their children filling out the application form and going through the registration process is like the child is going to enroll in the next semester, which is a manifestation of their long-term view of time. Conversely, people at the bottom of the social pyramid may face desperate alcohol and drugs. In their world, the boundary of time will not exceed 1 hour, which is only enough to drink a bottle of wine or relax once. Drug addiction, they don't think about anything other than their immediate needs. The same is true for making money. Some people work as hourly workers, and they think that they need to earn an income in 2 hours. The salaried class has a time view of 1 month. However, it is not calculated in hours or months. It may take years, or even more than 10 years to accumulate longer-term wealth, so this is the difference in wealth and advantages brought about by different views of time. There are many similar examples. For example, in the United States, many parents will open a college savings account for their children after they are born. They will deposit a certain amount of money regularly for many years to ensure that their children can get the best benefits when they grow up. Good education. Moreover, the author believes that in the United States, the reason why doctors have an enviable life and social status is that even an ordinary doctor has to pay as long as 12 years of hard work and sacrifice to earn this money. A person with a long-term perspective cannot do such a thing. Therefore, the author said that when you set goals for your life or make major decisions, you should ask yourself how far you have considered this matter, and your answers create your future. For example, in the same period of time, you choose to read a book or take a valuable class, which may have a great impact on your future career, but in turn you spend this time watching TV, watching the news or coffee may not have a big impact on your future. The author said, remember, everyone has the freedom to choose, whether to choose to be responsible for the long-term future, or choose to be only responsible for the immediate pleasure. However, it is not enough just to have a longer-term view of time, but also to have specific methods to support us. For example, your work is already very busy. What should you do if you have no way to face these long-term things? The author made 2 important suggestions worth your reference. The first suggestion is to spend time like money. What do you mean? It is the author who suggests that we treat our time like we treat money, and allocate our tasks according to our own hourly salary. The principle behind this is the comparative advantage theory. The so-called comparative advantage theory was proposed by the British economist David Ricardo. This theory was originally used to analyze the strategies of international trade. For example, China has low labor costs and has an advantage in producing labor-intensive products, so we should concentrate on doing things that have a comparative advantage. Another example is that the United States has strong R&D capabilities, which means more R&D work and more innovations occur in the United States. The author further extends this concept to work, thinking that we should outsource work arrangements to those with low wages or those with low wages. People with low salary requirements will do it. For example, for yourself, your goal is to work 2,000 hours a year to earn 50,000 yuan, then your hourly salary is 25 yuan per hour, which means that you should give the job to the hourly salary of less than 25 yuan. Do it every hour, even if you do it better than him. For example, each of us usually spends time washing the car, buying vegetables, and going to the laundry to get clothes, etc. In fact, you can give it to an assistant or cleaning lady to help you. They may only cost 20 yuan an hour. Then the time you bought with money can be devoted to the things you want to do under the guidance of the long-term concept of time. You can use it to learn, to change your cognition, and to meet important people. Spending money to buy the time you invest in long-term value is a very important thing, and spending time on personal and professional development investment is the most valuable use. If we acquire a new skill, or have our own uniqueness in a certain field of market demand, then it is very likely to push our career to a new peak and jump forward 5 years. It is a manifestation of long-term values, and behind this is the principle of comparative advantage, spending time like spending money to buy yourself the ability to invest in longer-term advantages. This is the first way, spend your time like money. The second method is to at least please yourself when doing anything. In fact, we can't have a long-term view of time, because we always take into account other people's feelings, always worry about what others think of you, and even try to find ways to cater to other people's requirements, while ignoring our own long-term more important needs. The author said that in this case, you might as well at least please yourself when doing anything, at least the result can guarantee to make one person happy. Psychologist Carl Rogers, he defined a full-functioning person as a sign that he would not be overly influenced by other people's opinions. A mature and well-developed adult would consider other people's likes and dislikes, others' point of view, but they still insist on making their own decisions in their own way. But most people are worried about what others think of them. In fact, others don't care about you at all, because most people are busy with their own affairs and have no time to care about other people's lives and behaviors, so we should have the courage to make things better. I like things that will make me truly happy in the long run. The author suggests that you can ask 4 questions to make yourself better think about this matter. The first question is, what should I do more or less to improve the quality of life? The status quo of quality of life can be changed. What do I need to do? The answer may be the need to work more efficiently or to spend more time with the most important people in your life. Then the second question is, if I want to improve my quality of life, what should I start doing that I didn't do before? We always have something to do, some place to go and see, but we always spend our lives in this kind of ridicule, but these things that are not done are often very important to us. Then ask yourself the third question, if I want to have more time to achieve the most important goals in life, what should I give up? There is no gain without giving up, and think about what things are not the most important things to us, things that are really valuable. The last fourth question, this question is not to ask yourself, but to sit down with your relatives, children, and your spouse and ask them, what do you want me to do more? What do you want me to do less? Hope that I will start doing it what not to do anymore. The relatives around you, their thoughts and opinions will have a very important impact on your happiness. If you think about these questions clearly, you can think about your work and family from a longer-term perspective. In fact, you need to invest 2 different types of time in work and family. For work, it is the quality of time you invest in. What you have to do is to devote the most important thing and the most valuable time to it. For family relationships, the more important requirement is the amount of time. You need to spend a long time with them without being interrupted. For example, every time you get along with your family members, you should spend at least 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 90 minutes, or even a longer period of time, so as to pave the way for the in-depth development of your relationship with each other. Because the author believes that you can't build an important relationship in a very hasty process, and this relationship is very important to our happiness in life. The content explained above is the core of this book. Let's review the whole book. The core goal of this book can be expressed in 2 sentences. First, the goal of time management is to complete more work at a faster speed, on the basis of conception, things that bring us long-term happiness and happiness. It's just that to achieve these two goals, the first thing to do is not to learn specific work skills, but to be able to avoid making wrong choices, such as a wrong job, a wrong relationship, and going further and further on the wrong road, the more time management skills go the other way. The field that really requires a reasonable investment of time should be a field that conforms to the long-term view of time. We can examine today's work and feelings from the perspective of longer-term issues, such as 10 or 20 years, so as to use the theory of comparative advantage and do what we like. With these two methods, let yourself continue to invest time in areas with a long-term view of time. Finally, on the topic of time management. In fact, it can be roughly divided into two schools in terms of the entire ideological basis. One school is the time management class of Brian Tracy we mentioned today, and the previous GDT and Pomodoro technique. Their basic ideas are doing more work at a faster speed, that is, being able to live a slow life through high efficiency, is their core philosophy. The main focus is on which methods to use to make life more orderly, so as to achieve organizational efficiency. But there is another school of time management, which is to question why do so many things. This school of thought believes that this is not right, what should be done is more essential, to do really important things. Therefore, the time management concept advocated by this genre is to streamline and focus on the most important things. Of course, these two concepts are not completely isolated. To improve efficiency does not mean not paying attention to the essentials, and to be essential does not mean not paying attention to improving efficiency. The two are actually integrated with each other, but they each focus on the angle is different. For a beginner of time management, it is recommended to start with how to complete the work more efficiently, that is, GTD, Brian Tracy time management and the concept of Pomodoro technique. After all, mastering such an efficient method, skills are very important. But once you have an understanding or proficiency in this field, it is recommended that you read the methods in the field of essence. Essentialism and Simple Thinking are books in this field, you can listen to them. Because at this time, many people will fall into a state where the more capable they are, the more they will be busy, and the concept of essentialism can help us deal with the problems in this situation. This is the end of this episode of the show. What do you think about it differently? Welcome to leave a message to discuss with everyone. Hey, if you like our channel, please subscribe us. Haha, remember to like it.